We practice, of course, today a more contemporary version of capoeira, but what we're going to do is warm up briefly, stretch briefly, and then get to a little bit of movement, get to the fun stuff, okay? So let's get the heart and lungs working just a little bit. All right, so everybody up on your toes, heels off the floor. Easy enough, right? Breathing deeply in through the nose, out through the mouth. In deep. And from here, it's going to jog in place. Let's drive the knees higher and higher, all the way up in front of you. All the way up to your chest. Down. And now keep your feet behind you. Try to bring your heels all the way to your butt. Focusing on your breathing. Wake up the lungs and heart. Get the blood pumping, wake up the body a little bit. Now we're going to take one leg forward, the opposite arm forward, and jump like this. Everyone's still with me. At the hips, I want your shoulders to go opposite of your hips. So we go here. From here, spread your feet a little wider. From here, bend your knees, drop your waist, and let's work. And jump again. Now we're going to take your right hand and touch your left heel, and then push from side to side. Bring the backs of your hands together. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Relax. One hand on the knee, and right here. Over here. Again, push your hips down, lean back. And return. And we're going to take your knee all the way up to your chest. Keep your back straight as much as you can. And right your name with your
give me that. that ankle action. Yes.
And from here, point your knees to the floor. Bring both knees close together. And push your hips forward as much as you can. Place your hands in the center. And take your hands are parallel to your left foot. Left foot is flat on the floor. And from here, reach forward as much as you can. And return your hands. And we're going to turn to the side. Here. The right heel is on the floor with the back. And from here we return forward. Place your right knee on the floor and flatten your right foot. Place your right hand directly in front of your face on the floor. And turn your chest to the From here, we're going to bring your right elbow to apply a little pressure with your elbow. Parallel. Place one hand on each side of your left foot and straighten the foot. And squat again. And now we take the left foot down. Meu passado. And return. Turn it to the side. So the left heel should be on the floor. Behind the right knee. And place the left elbow on the right knee. Quero dizer nessa maneira. Eu não tenho rede nem gaiola que prende capoeira. A moça logo chorou. And return. Eu não pude entender. Feet parallel. One hand on each side. And straight to the left. No dia que foi ter. Now we're going to take both feet back, drop your hips, press your shoulders up and your chest forward. And turn your shoulders. Right? And now look up, try to see behind you. Your hands and feet. Press your heels flat to the floor. Press your head below your shoulders. And from here, take your left hand, cross your body, try to turn your torso to the ceiling. Other side. Flatten your feet and sit on your heels. Take your right hand, place it on the floor behind you, and lift your hips, and reach toward the back wall. Press your belly button to the ceiling.
You love us, Shannon. I do, I love y'all. Even when Wendy falls.
And now take the left foot back. Grab your ankles, lift your hips, keep your chin to your chest, bend your knees slightly, and we're going to roll up slowly. As you roll up, press your hips forward. Your head should be the last thing to rise. And relax. All right. Nice and loose, right? Okay.
Nice and tired. Is that the warm-up?
Thank you so much.
That's awesome. All right.
Typically, you warm up about an hour.
We warm up pretty close to it. Warm up straight. Okay. All right. So the first thing we learned, the basic step of capoeira that connects everything, is called a ginga. So let me hear you say ginga.
Ginga.
Ginga. It's G-I-N-G-A. Ginga. Okay. So we're going to start with the feet together and your arms out to the side. You're going to take your right leg and take a really big step straight back. Okay. I want you to bend your knee in the back and bend your knee in the front so that your heel is off the floor in the back. Take your right arm, bring it in front of your face, and drop your elbow just a touch so that the elbow is in line with your jaw. Take your left arm and relax it completely, okay? This is the base of the ginga, and I want you to hold this position. Okay.
see the difference between that one and that one.
Now you want your arm here in the front to be firm, but not tense. Okay? It's firm enough to absorb a blow and also to stop it as it comes in. Let's get right there. Okay? From here, we're going to take a wide step, parallel. Still with the knees bent, your weight is centered. This position is called cadeira. Cadeira means chair. So we're imagining if we're sitting in a chair. Okay? We're here, still protecting our face. From this position, you're going to change to the left leg back, and now the left arm comes forward in front of your face. And again, we step wide to the side, and change, and step, and change, and step, and change,
Uh-oh.
and step, and change.
Y'all are fighters now. You're fighters now.
And change. Be careful when you step not to cross your feet and not to turn your hips to the side. The hips stay straight forward. The shoulders stay on one line. Okay? Step. And change. And step. Change. Step. Change. Step. Change. Step. Change. Feel the rhythm swinging side to side like a pendulum. Step. Change. Step. Change. Very hypnotic, ginga. Step, change, 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 and relax. Okay, shake it out. Everybody down here, this side of the room. All the way across, all the way. You're gonna change the exercise a little bit, okay? The ginga has to be the most natural part of capoeira. The ginga is basically equivalent to walking. It's the way you manipulate space, the way you move around your opponent, the way you transition to everything. Everything goes to and comes from the ginga. If capoeira is stew, ginga is the gravy. Okay, that holds all the different pieces together. Okay, so we're going to practice walking the ginga. And if you notice things that are in common between the ginga and walking, when you walk, you don't have to think about it. You just walk because you've been doing it ever since you could walk. So the ginga has to be that natural. Even the greatest capoeira master still practices the ginga to make it very natural for them. Okay, so we're going to do a lot of things in the ginga. And ginga doesn't just refer to this movement, but it refers to a style of movement, a swing, a sway, a deception with the body, a dance-like movement. Okay? When you walk, everyone here, if I asked you to walk, would have sort of a different swing, a different rhythm, a different way you walk. Okay? And the same is true of the ginga. The ginga has a technique, you know, where you're supposed to be here. It has lines and dots that we're supposed to connect, but in between those lines, it gives room for self-expression. So every single person is going to have sort of a different swing, a different break, a different way that their body sequences, because everyone's different in dimensions. If I measured from your wrist to your elbow, elbow to your shoulder, from shoulder to waist, everyone has different proportions. So everybody's break, everybody's swing is going to be a little different. That's the beauty of capoeira, is that it gives so much to the individual. You know, I've been in another martial art where everybody had to be exactly like the master. And if you weren't, it was wrong, even though everybody's not built exactly like the master. Capoeira, you have a certain technique that's, you know, like I said, you have lines to paint, but the colors you paint within those lines depends on you. You know, it depends on you and where you're comfortable. Okay? So the other thing in common with walking is you remember it's opposite hand, opposite foot when you walk, unless, of course, you're a penguin. I don't think we have any penguins in this class. So with that, we're just going to walk the ginga. I want everybody with the right leg back and your right arm forward. Switch your arm. There you go. Step forward with the right leg and edge. So we're going to step and change, okay? And step, and change. Pick up your feet, don't slide them, step and change. And I want really controlled, soft, light steps. Let's think of a cat stalking a bird in the grass, right? You don't want to break that branch and let the bird fly away, right? You have to be very silent. So we step and change, 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 and all right. So the other thing we learn in Capoeira is that every time we cross one horizon, there's another challenge. So coming across the room, stepping in the jingle is easy. We're going to make it a little more difficult. We're going to face that way and put the right leg back with the right arm protecting your face. And now we're going to go back. Let's take a big step back and change your arm and step back.
Not so easy.
Change and step and change and step, change, step and change, step and change, step and change, and relax. Okay? What we learned from going backwards is you must at all times be aware of your surroundings. You know, you're going to step on somebody's foot, step through the mirror, step into the wall if you're not aware. And you don't necessarily have to turn your head in the direction you're going to see where you're going. You can use all sorts of other senses, peripheral, you know. You can see your relationship to the room as the room changes, you know, just in movement by becoming aware. The question of self-defense, martial arts, you know, comes up so much. There's so many paradoxical things within learning a fight. And I teach this class, like I said, to many different levels of understanding. And I try to be very responsible when teaching someone to fight, you know, the message that I'm trying to get across. Because since I have really learned to fight, I haven't had to. You know,
Ain't that the truth? That's true.
When you know what you can do, you have the confidence to walk away. You also have the awareness to see situations that cause conflict a lot further out. You know, just like you can see the punch coming, see the kick coming. With experience, you anticipate these things and you're able to get around situations or find other ways to resolve it than the physical conflict. So I teach this class and I taught for years in an alternative middle school. These are kids who were kicked out of their school for fighting or for whatever, you know, maybe carrying a knife to school or something like this. And I'm teaching them how to fight, so I felt like, you know, I have to be responsible really with the message. And when you examine self-defense at its root, you know, I would ask the kids, I'd say, okay, you know, what does self-defense mean? You know, first we have to really define what that is, you know. And self-defense is just preservation, keeping yourself safe. And I would say, okay, what do you think the ultimate form of self-defense is? And some kid says, ooh, boxing. You know, like if you can box, you can beat somebody up. And I said, well, in every boxing match, there's at least one boxer whose boxing didn't defend him so well, because in every fight, you know, a well-trained fighter loses, you know, unless it's a draw. You know, somebody's boxing didn't defend him very well against the other boxer. So someone will raise their hand and say, you know, karate will go through all the different forms of fighting, because fighting is really within the fighter. And someone will say, a gun. And I'll say, well, has anyone ever died with a gun in their hand? Well, yeah, but they didn't know how to use it. People who are very well trained, you know, still can die with a gun in their hand. The best form of self-defense is to avoid conflict, is to resolve conflict, is to not get into conflict. So we fight so that we don't have to. Everyone choose a partner, okay? And with your partner, all we're going to do is mirror each other in the ginga. So, when you mirror each other in the ginga, there are 3 things I want you to concentrate on, okay? The first and most important is vision, okay, your eyes. Capoeira will, as you've seen, take you to a lot of different positions, okay? So, where you're looking, you want to visualize that there's a triangle from the top of the head to the shoulders. You never lose this triangle. You're always looking at this triangle. I promise your partner will not go anywhere without this triangle. Okay? Second thing that I want you to focus on is the width of the step. your step should be at least as wide as your partner. Because the purpose of the ginga is to take away a target from your opponent. Okay? If I'm in a straight line, and a lot of fighting styles are linear, my partner can kick right here, and they know that she knows I'm in her target zone, right? So Capoeira wants to flank that. I want to step out here so that she has to reset. By the time she resets, I'm over here. By the time she resets again, I'm kicking. Okay? So I'm pushing outside of there. I don't want my step to be narrow here because I'm still in the target zone here. I want my step to come outside as low as your partner in the ginga. And lowness does not come from bending the back, but the hips and the knees here. Okay, leverage comes from being low. Let's mix it up.
I gotta keep it up or I'll forget.
Somebody come to me. Come to her. Come to her.
I love someone you haven't been. Let's go. Okay, we got and relax, everybody. What you do is grab the bottom of your foot and push against your hand. Push as hard as you can against your hands and let it go. You feel that spring action? It's like a tight coiled spring and then release. That's what you want to feel each time you throw it. Here, release, but with enough control to bring it back and place it back in the ginga. And now you're going to bring the right knee up to your chest, and we push, bring it back, and place back to the ginga. And step, left side, kick, bring it back. Step, right side, kick, bring it back. Step, left side, kick, and back. Step, right side, kick, bring it back. Step, left side, kick, and back. Step, right side, kick, bring it back. And step, left side, kick, bring it back. Step, right side, kick, bring it back. And step, left side. Use the hips. Kick, bring it back. And step, right side, kick, bring it back. And relax. Back, and let's go. Step, left side, kick, bring it back. Kick, bring it back. Step, left side, kick, bring it back. Step, right side, kick, bring it back, and relax. All right, we got some capoeiristas here, man. You guys are ready. Music brings the energy, and is what makes it so different from any other martial art, because it involves music, culture, philosophy, language, so many things in one. You know, capoeira has a lot to give, a lot to learn. Feel where the clap connects to my drum. Clap, clap, clap. 1, 2, 3. And that's that class, like I said.
That is
That's all I can think of. The whole time we were singing that.
It's not even the same song.
It was singing that in my head.
Because there was
1, 2, 3.